Hello, this is going to be a video of how to create a macro to join multiple Excel files and multiple tabs, either in different Excel files or within the same Excel files. So I have this folder. The first step is to create a folder where you are going to add all the Excel files and only those Excel files that you want to join. So here I have two Excel files. One I have 3 tabs and the other one I have 2 tabs. Ideally, this works best when all your Excel files have the same format and the same position and naming, same data types. But this also works if you want to join them by name or by position. This will also work. If your Excel files they have different position and naming, then you want to try to you want to try to make it as equal as possible because Alteryx will add them by name and by position, either one. So ideally, it is the same position or name. And when I say name, I mean the first row, the header, right? So in this case, I have ABC and I have ABC. They're all in the same position, same name. It's not the same schema because here I have text, but here I have numbers. But it won't matter as long as I can join them by name or position. And this one here, same name, numbers. So we're gonna try to join this 3. Sheet 1 right here and we're gonna try to join these 2 together and create it in a single table. Okay, so we are going to start by bringing in the directory tool, and let's look for that folder. This folder should only contain those files that you want to join, Excels, right? And we're gonna click run, and now we see we have all this different information. Before we do that, we're gonna create our first macro. We're gonna go to interface, file browser, and we're gonna put this choose the folder. Choose the folder. Yeah. And we're gonna join this magnifying glass with this action tool right here. And our action, we wanna have it update directory folder browser. I'm just gonna click enter. There we go. And now we have all these different fields. The only one we really care about is full path. So we're just gonna use a select tool, bring it here, we'll deselect everything. And all we care about is this one right here, full path. So we're gonna run this and we should have only this right here. So if we open this up, we see how here, for Alteryx to give us the sheet names, we need to add sheet names to the very end. So in order to do so, we're going to get the formula tool and we are going to select the column full path. And here I have my formulas. So I'm just going to copy this one right here. And I'm going to paste it right there. All this is doing is getting the column full path. This plus sign is concatenation. So it's going to add the string in this full path together with this string right here. And take into account that the two little semicolons here, they're just defining this as text. So if we run this, now at the very end of we have list of sheet names. It is the text that we added, okay? And then I'm just gonna add a record ID. And once I have that, I'm gonna go to interface and I am gonna add a macro output. And I will just put all right here. Okay, and that is going to be our first macro. So we're going to save that. And I'm going to save it in, you can save it any file. I have a specific file where I save macros. And we're going to call this one directory. I'm going to save this. Okay, and then we're going to open a new tab. We're going to insert the macro directory. So, okay, now the nice thing about this is that here we can browse for the folder that we're looking for. So we're going to select combine Excel files. This is the folder I created with the Excel files. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to run this. Let's just give it a second. Okay. And it's taking a little bit longer than expected, but let's just give it a second. Okay, there we go. So now I have the two files from that specific folder. The nice thing about this is that if you have another, in the future, if you create another folder with Excels you want to look for, all you would have to do is come here, browse, and select that particular folder. Okay, so once we have that, we are going to create our second macro. And for that, we are going to open a new tab. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a batch macro. So batch macros, they're a little bit different than standard macros in the sense that they allow you to run different batches of a specific control parameter. All this means is that it's going to allow us to run this macro not only for one Excel, but for multiple Excels. So we go to interface, we're going to select control parameter, and now we are going to, I'll just go back, and I am going to get an input right here, input data, and I'm going to look for one of the Excel files that we're going to join. So I'm just going to click right here, data connections, and this is one of the files that I had in my folder. And now, instead of selecting sheet 1, I'm going to have import only the list of sheet names. I'm going to click OK. And down here, I want to select full path because I want it to bring in not only a list of sheet names, but a full path of where that particular, of all the tabs are in that Excel. And then I'm going to join this with the control parameter. And this right here, the nice thing of the control parameter is it allows you to run for different Excels. So I'm going to click this one right here because the directory from the new workflow is going to be run one time with the first input and then another time with the second input. That's what we're doing right here. So we're going to click that one right there. And this right here, I'm going to go to View, Interface Designer. Let's just move it a little bit more to open up. We're going to go down here and we want to auto configure by name or position. So one of these two we want to select. In my case, they all have the same name, but I could do it by position as well. So I'm just going to auto configure by name. Here, I can change the icon. Maybe I'll just put this purple one. Looks pretty nice. Okay, and I'm going to hide this. Okay, let's see. Let me just hide this. Okay, there we go. Okay, and once I have that, I'm gonna run it. And now we have, for that file that we selected, we have all the sheet names and the file name. So I'm gonna put a preparation tool, and let's bring this, instead of file name, this is the full path, right? So I'm just gonna rename it to full path, okay? Once I have that, I am gonna bring I would like it to also show the file name, right? So not only the location, but what is the file called? So I'm gonna put a formula tool, and I'm gonna create a new column, add a new column, and I'm gonna call this reverse full path. You'll see in a second what is this for. And I am going to reverse the full path. Let me just run this, show you what I created. So the reason I reverse this is, if you notice at the very end, we do have the name of the file. So we have sample one, sheet one. The last slash defines the location of this name. So it is easier to find where this is located if I reverse it. So if I reverse this at the very, let me just open this up. I will have this value right here first. So I can select, I can do a formula to cut this up and then reverse it back and get the file name. So I will go and I will put this in I'll add a column and I'll call this file name. And I have my formula over here. And all this formula is doing is it is finding the slash. It's finding it with this formula. It is then reversing the string. It is replacing list of sheet names with blank, so basically erasing it. And that way I get the file name. So let me just run this to show you what I mean. Okay, perfect. So now I have sample one because I cut it up from here. I cut this up, I reversed it back, and then I eliminated. If you look at this, the reverse version is list of sheet names. So, okay, now it is completely reversed, and I'll just put a select tool because I don't want this reversible path. And I would like to have sheet names at the very bottom. So if I run it one more time, I have, I did not, okay, yeah, I did. Full path, file name, and sheet names. Okay, once I have that, I'll just put an output and save that as a macro. And I will put an O here. And let me go ahead and save as. I'll call this macro mapping table. Let's just give it a second. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'll call this mapping table macro. Okay, once I have that, I'll go right here where I have my directory and I'll insert my mapping table macro. Okay, and this question mark right here, it is basically the information that goes into here. That's what's the beauty of a control parameter. Very important. Once you have this, go ahead and select full path. right here. So, and we are, just for now, we're gonna add a browser after. So we're gonna run this. And here we selected that folder. We previously selected the folder that we're looking for. Here we selected full path because that's what we want to be replaced in order for it to find the document and run the batch twice. And this is how the output looks. So now we have the file name from 3 sheets. The file name from this sample 1 sheet. We have the 3 sheets right here. And then from the other Excel, we have 2 tabs. And this is the mapping table. Okay. And now, what are we gonna, I'm gonna delete this for now. And I am going to put this tool right here, the select record. I'll just bring it down here. And the beauty of this tool is that I can select which ones I want to join. So previously I said I want to join sample 1 sheet 1, this document, and then I want to join these 2 documents right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 1, and then I'll put 4, and I could put 5. There's different ways you can do this. If it's a really big range, you could just put 4 to 5, and so on. So I'll just leave that for now, and I'll run this. And now I have the 3 that I want to select, and I want to join. I want to union, right? I want to place this on top of this, on top of that. So now we're going to go ahead and create the last macro. And for this, I'm just going to go ahead and open a new tab. Hopefully my computer won't crash. Okay, and I'll bring, in this one, we are also going to use a batch macro because we want to run 2 batches because we have 2 Excel documents. So I'm going to, before I do that, I missed a really important step. So this right here, right now it says list of sheet names. But now what we want is this particular sheet. So we don't want Alteryx to give us a list of sheet names. We want this particular sheet and this particular sheet. So before we do that, let's go right here, and we're going to use a formula tool. And we want to replace, we are going to call this full path. We want to replace, actually I have my formula right here. We want to replace the full path. We want to take out list of sheet names, and we want to put the actual sheet name that we're interested in. Okay, so one more time. If I go here I have list of sheet names. I don't want Alteryx to read this as an address. I want to take this out and put the actual sheet. Okay, so I'm going to run this guy. Maybe we can rename this. So we could put sheet correct, location correct, file and sheet. We can put selected. Okay. And now we are going to continue with our last macro, which is also going to be a batch macro. I'm going to throw the control parameter in there. And we are, in this case, we are going to have a text input. So let me just copy this here. I'm going to hit action, copy to clipboard. All records with headers, very important. We want headers. Without headers, it'd just be the data. Let's copy all records with headers. And then I go here. I'm just going to paste it as an input. And now this guy right here, I'm just going to join it. actually, let me think about this for a second. Yeah, no, actually, this is wrong. Let me erase this. We'll just take a second. And we're gonna again have an input data where we want to select one of the files. So let's just select that same file we had. And in this case, we do want to bring one of the sheets. So any sheet would work. I suggest getting one that you've already used. I'll click OK. And then I would also click right here. I would click full path. Okay. And then let's just give it a second. Let's go right there and let's select this guy right here, because we want the batch macro to every time replace this with a new location. Let's just click right there. And very important, we are gonna go back and we're gonna go to View, Interface Designer, Autocorrect by name. You can do by position, by name, and we're gonna put a cool image. Something really cool is that you can also browse and put an image here. Let's just put that one. That looks really cool. Okay, let me hide this. And once we have this, we're just gonna run it one time. Okay, and then we have the file name. And now we can go to our map pick table and we can copy this right here. We can paste it right there, because we also want to get the file name, right? So let's just put it there. See how this looks. I always like to bring file name at the very top. Okay. Interesting that these guys are a double, but that's okay. And then we're gonna have that same formula. And here I am going to bring the file name all the way up there. And let's run it, see how it looks. Okay, and there we have the full path and the file name with its particular file and location. And then we're gonna save this macro. I can put just press Ctrl S, and I'll call this combine macro. Okay, and once we have that, we're gonna go back to our workflow. Let's just give it a second. See, okay, nice. And I'm going to insert macro. I'm gonna go to my combine macro, and then this guy right here. And very important, I'm gonna put the browse tool so everything shows. Let's just give it a second. The nice thing is that every time you do this, okay, we're gonna again select full path. Let's just give it a second. And now, from now onwards, every time you have files to select, it is already built. So let's put a browse tool, and let's just make sure this is aligned, distribute horizontally. Okay, perfect. And let's run it. And there we go. So we have the information from the first file, sheet 1, the second file, this tab, and it is all joined together. And I put this at the very front because I want to know the location and the sample. But your data, if you had 100 more fields, they would all appear here. Yeah, and that's it. And the nice thing is, if you were to, let's say, let's create a new Excel. And let's call this A, A, D, B, C, and let's just put some random numbers between, and we'll say 1 and 100. Let's just copy this to the side, and I'm just gonna hard code this bad boys, and I'm gonna save as, let me browse, let's see if I can get it into my combined Excel file. So with this other two, I'll just leave that as book 1, and I'll save it, and I'll close this up. And now if I were to run this again, the way I would do it would be, I would first run it because it's already in that same folder. This right here, it shouldn't change because it's still full path, what we need. And this guy right here, where is that? Okay, book 1. In that case, now I want to have record 1, I want to have record 2, and I still want to have 5 and 6. 5 and 6, this last two right here. Okay, and I'm just gonna run it. And if I go here, I have everything from book 1, and since it was joined by name, this new name was created. So column D is created here, but A, B, and C remained the same for this ones. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and I really appreciate it if you give it a like. Well, actually, all I really care if you type a comment. I always like to read the comments. So yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.